Hello, everybody. I'm Del Shores.
And I'm Emerson Collins, and you're watching The Del and Emerson Show.
Straight talk.
Real gay. Oh, Del Shores slid right into his seat in the studio with seconds to spare because you had an adventure.
Yes, I did have an adventure.
What was happening?
Well, I went to Ralph's, and first of all, just going to that Ralph's gives me anxiety because that was the COVID Ralph's.
I was about to say, did you go to the COVID Ralph's? There's like 17 more.
It's on my way home. There have not been any more COVID outbreaks there, and I know where everything is because so anyway.
That's really why, it's the convenience.
I was like one of those shoppers on a game show because I knew exactly what I needed. I was just like, God, I knew I was cutting it close. I get there and I go to the register that's shortest, and there is this really handsome guy in front of me that has a reasonable amount of groceries. Well, it turned out he was a shopper. So they have to, redo, and then another payment and then another payment. Well, he and the cashier were getting a little flirty with each other. I think that she gave him her number at the end on the receipt. And I'm like getting so anxious, and I'm so close to being a Karen. I was like, I'm going to call your manager. But I didn't. I held it inside, and here I am.
I held my tongue. Well, I've only left the house once since our last show on Friday, literally even like out of the front door, because, with the apocalypse in the air. But we've been so like, how do you come up with things to do, that are safe? So we braved the Michaels, masks and all, because this weekend we made a Halloween wreath. It's the middle of September, and we said, I don't care. Y'all, I need you to see Blake has put spooky fabric on the table.
Oh, my goodness.
Maleficent staff is already out as decoration.
Do you have a picture of the wreath for us?
I don't.
Oh, I want to know. I saw it myself, and it's really wonderful. It's great, y'all.
But we spent money and bought a plain wreath and spent our crazy Saturday night was making a wreath. For a holiday that is not even this month. It's still 6 weeks away. And then watch Practical Magic.
Well, I have one better than that. Our good friend Rob sent me and Leslie Christmas wreaths. And he made Christmas wreaths for us. And thank you, Rob. I took it to Leslie today. I have a video for you he made for you, and he loved it. So
I feel better. That makes me feel better because we've already started like the witchy movies. Y'all know I don't do horror. So we're watching like every kind of witch movie, vampire movie. If the villains are sexy, that's the kind of Halloween movies I like.
You like like the Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yes. Oh no, we definitely got a doormat for inside our door because who's coming over? That says Hocus Pocus, but not like that version. It's just like a wink, wink, not trademark infringement.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm so happy with you, and I would I was going to say to order one of Blake and Emerson's wreath.
I know, but up next it's either OnlyFans or Etsy. I'm not sure which way we're going. Hello, everybody. To all 80 of you watching our show right now. Welcome. Whether you are watching us on Facebook or on YouTube or on Periscope on Twitter, we are glad that you join us. Y'all, if you're watching on Facebook, share the broadcast. I was looking and I haven't been able to. Does anybody share the broadcast, or are you all ashamed? Because the idea is that the show gets bigger and bigger, but we sort of we've been hovering in the same place for a couple of months. Are y'all ashamed of us? Ashamed to tell your friends you watch?
It should be like a really nice erection. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes, we want to be a video Viagra. Where it hurts so long you have to see a doctor.
Okay, it's going to be a silly show, as you can tell.
Speaking of silly, I'm sure you all saw at least the reference to it that Captain America himself, Chris Evans, accidentally released a screen cap onto his Instagram that included a black and white grainy image of his substantial shield. Captain America has a shield. That metaphor doesn't work.
Sword?
Captain America doesn't have a sword. It's like he certainly doesn't have any reason to be jealous of Thor's hammer.
Oh, well, you know what? I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
I didn't actually see the image. I just saw the conversation, but the description was that it wasn't all that much. And y'all don't go looking. First of all, disclaimer. Somebody did not mean to share their nudes with you. Don't be passing them around or looking for them. Like, I mean, yes, he's a hot, very handsome man with lots of money and a great life. And so it's probably not that torturous, but still, like, don't look for people's nudes they didn't try to give you.
Yeah, I didn't know. I saw it trending on Twitter, and everybody was being actually very, very respectful, including Mark Ruffalo, who was saying, "Hey, bro, if this is the worst thing that's happened, given what."
It was actually very sweet because lots of people flooded like his name with pictures of him and his dog, and they talked about how he has anxiety, and that, you know, this could certainly exacerbate that. But the best response by far, some of you probably know, but some of you might not. That Chris Evans has a gay brother who is also an actor named Chris. Hold on, I'm dragging this out because I put a, oh, there we go. And he got online yesterday, and Scott said, was off social media for the yesterday. So what I miss?
Yeah.
Which I just thought was absolutely perfect. And then Chris finally came back online yesterday, and he said, now that I have your attention, vote November 3rd. And I thought, what a great way to deal with that.
That's the way to do it. Well, his tallywhacker. Yes, his tallywhacker. His tallywhacker. So I went to visit Leslie today, and I said, oh, did you hear about Chris Evans? He said, oh, honey, I saw it. I don't know. He dug deeper than I did.
That does not surprise me.
Anyway,
and then one other fun thing, you know, Dell's got his show coming up, the Shister. Buy those tickets on his website. But Blake and I are teaching our second workshop on Saturday. We had our first workshop, the 16 Bars and Books, and it was great. The people were fantastic. We had a lot of fun. So if you have a song you're working on, a song that you would like to work on, join us this weekend for that. You can register and get more information at www.thedellshorestudio.com.
I know musical theater queens in the house here tonight. I mean, you know, or this afternoon, wherever what coast you're on. And I got such great response, Emerson. You know, because I'm the head of that studio.
It is the eponymous Del Shore Studio.
CEO of the Del Shore Studio, and I got nothing but raves. Everybody was saying how brilliant it was and how much fun it was as well. And the one response that I liked, they said, you know, I was really nervous going in because they're both very talented, and they made us feel so comfortable and at ease. And I did not feel nervous. So what a great compliment to you guys. So
it's for all skill levels, whether you are looking to work on an audition piece, a piece you might want to perform someday, or just your karaoke song to get a little bit better. We'll work on all of it.
There you go. So,
all right. Well, what we do here is the LGBTQ news and nonsense. A little bit of fun, a little bit of important, and some things we think you should know about. Please share your thoughts and commentary, because honestly, we're not here to just listen to each other talk. And real quickly, up first, some frustrating news. We told you the story last week that the Duterte in the Philippines, the president there, has pardoned U.S. Marine Joseph Pemberton for the homicide of Jennifer Laud, a trans woman, back in 2014. Well, Sunday, they put him on a plane back to the U.S. The Philippines Bureau of Immigration issued a statement saying he was a risk to public safety. So they pardoned him, but they don't want him there, so they sent him back to us. He is perpetually barred from returning to the Philippines. So a very frustrating end to that case, although I would think the LGBTQ community there, at least they're rid of him and this story, but now he's home.
Well, I wish him nothing but misery.
Absolutely.
And then other trans news, we've got a GOP. Are you ready? This is like the biggest fuck you I've ever read, this story. The primary nomination for a sheriff in Cheshire County, New Hampshire, was won by Aria DeMezzo. Okay, are you ready? Identifies as a transsexual Satanist anarchist.
And those are her words, y'all.
Yeah, and our campaign slogan is "Fuck the Police." She's both a libertarian and the high priestess of the Reformed Satanic church. That already just makes me nervous. You know, growing up Southern Baptist, anybody that was a Satanist, it just makes me nervous. And she's like Eastern religions. And she totally oblivious, said it's totally oblivious that Republican voters wouldn't have voted for her if they had actually researched her, but they didn't. She wrote in a blog post after the win, more than 4,000 people went to the voting booth, and they all filled in the circle with my name, despite knowing absolutely nothing about the person they were nominated to the most powerful law enforcement position in the country. I guess she made her point. The system that let you down by allowing me, the freaking transsexual Satanist anarchist, be your sheriff candidate is the same system I'm attacking. I'm sorry, and I know it hurts to hear, but that system is a lie. It's all broken. All right, point proven. She said that only one person in the whole county did any research on her, and he spread that what he found everywhere, good on him. That is a person I respect. After her win, her car was vandalized with anti-gay graffiti. She'll face incumbent Sheriff Eli Rivera in November. He has won 5 times as the Democrat, and that's why there was no Republican on the ballot running against her. So
I love this so much. One, she has a radio show, and she's very smart. She's very much libertarian, a sort of anti-capitalist. But it's hilarious and also like so frustrating, because what it demonstrates is how many people go down the ballots and just hit the buttons. And y'all, let's be honest, people do it on both sides. You put a straight ticket and there's a whole bunch of races you didn't bother to research. You have no idea about that person. And 4,000 people voted for her just because there was an R next to her. I mean, there was no other choice. But like what that says about how much people care to know before they go into the ballot booth. I walk in with my little paper where I learned about the judges and all the things. Like, yes, it's work, but y'all, it's grown-up homework.
Yes, I do. I get those booklets. I go to the gay sites. I go to the Democrat sites. I go to all the sites, and I try to make an intelligent decision, without just going, oh, check.
Yeah. I mean, she's probably not going to win, but oh my gosh, like representative of why so many people, like people don't care. And it's also why we can't have discussions. Anyway, I got distracted on a thought because you mentioned the church growing up and, Eastern religions and all those things we were taught, Satanism, we didn't celebrate Halloween. We had a fall festival and you weren't allowed to be witches or warlocks because that was of the devil. Did you read that this week the Southern Baptist Church is trying to change its name to like the Great Reformation or something? Wait, hold on, I'll see what the Great Commission, to get rid of the racist roots. They're going to be calling themselves, Great Commission Baptists.
They ought to just call themselves Bigotry Baptists. Bigotry Baptists.
Bigot Baptists. Well, how can I direct your call?
The pastor's not out right now. He is on a call. He's over there on the white side of town.
Obviously. I'm so sorry, but Meals on Wheels doesn't go to the other side of the tracks here at Bigot Baptist.
Hold on just a second. Here's a little musical interlude for you. Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. White and white, white and white. They are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world.
For those who don't know, the Southern Baptist Convention was founded by Baptists from the South who were against civil rights. They literally said, no, we want to be able to keep our slaves. That's from Jesus. He wants us to have them too. And so they split from the Baptists of the North. It was literally founded to reinforce racism.
Yes.
And now they're trying to get away from that 100 years later.
And then many churches, many Southern Baptist churches, and not just Southern Baptists, but many churches in the South would not allow blacks to sit in their pews. Many. And it was a big problem. So therefore,
I'm covering Southern Baptists. Lord, aren't so many of us.
And of course, Emerson, I'm kind of proud of us though. We did not rehearse that little bit that we did. It was very good. I thought it was very good improv. We could play the secretary of the
real good. Well, all right. In news, a great accomplishment happened this week ago. In 2015, Helen Thornton tried to claim survivor's benefits from Social Security based on her 27 relationship with Marge Brown, who died in 2006. 6 years before same-sex couples in the States had the right to marry. Now, the Social Security Administration turned her down because she and Brown had not been legally married, even though at the time state law prevented them from doing so. Well, last week, federal court judge James Robart ruled that denial of benefits violated the U.S. Constitution. He also certified the case as a national class action, meaning anyone who sought benefits and been denied them because they were unable to marry their partner will have an avenue to the claim. It's a really big deal. People that can demonstrate they were in long-term committed relationships with a same-sex partner should be able to join this class action to hopefully eventually get Social Security survivor benefits for each other. And that's really a lot for older people where one person worked more than the other, if the other handled the home, etc. So Helen said, Margie and I were fortunate to share 27 years of love and commitment together on this earth, and I'm gratified the judge understood that. Even though we were barred from marriage, our love and commitment was no different than that between heterosexual couples who had this freedom to marry. We gladly paid into the Social Security system through our jobs, and it's an enormous relief to know I'm entitled to the same financial protections. And that's the big deal, right? We all pay into Social Security. They paid into it for years and years and years, and this judge said she should have the avenue to get those benefits from her partner who is no longer with us. It's a really big deal. I mean, that affects a lot of older people from with relationships before marriage equality. So it's a huge win, and I would think hugely impactful for a lot of seniors who were in same-sex relationships.
Absolutely. Win, yes.
A victory, excitement. We try not to only bring the negative news.
That's right. And then, there was Andrew Gillum had a really horrific, some bad press that came out a few months ago. And on the season premiere of the Tamron Hall show, it featured an interview with the former Florida Democratic gubernatorial candidate. And he said, I don't identify as gay, but I do identify as bisexual. And that is something that I have never shared publicly before. In his first interview since going to rehab, and this is the incident I was referring to, he was found in a hotel in Miami with a male escort who appeared to have OD'd back in March. In a video he released in July, he said, I don't want to talk emotionally or really deeply about what had happened in the race for governor because it was a constant reminder of failure and my own personal failures, all the things I wanted to suppress and numb and forget about. That depression around what I was experiencing there became far too much for me to keep down. And that's the real crazy thing about depression. A lot of times we think we're dealing with it, we're strong, and we'll put on a brave face, and it bubbles up inside. But eventually what bubbles up on the inside is going to come out. His wife, R.J. Gillum, said in an interview, so many people just don't understand bisexuality. I just believe that love and sexuality exist on a spectrum. All I care about is what's between us and what agreement we make. Gillum also added, bisexuality in and itself doesn't lead to unfaithfulness. You can be attracted to both. You got a bigger terrain out there than you have to contend with, but you can still choose to be physically with one person. So I thought that was a really brave thing that he did, instead of just sweeping that all under the rug and having people wonder. And I loved what he had to say about depression, because that we've talked about that so much on this show. And we try to say, we've talked about how I go, oh no, I'm fine. And you're not always fine. And it's okay not to always be fine.
Well, and I loved that they talked about it together. For anybody who wondered, she made very clear that she did know about his bisexuality. That wasn't news to her, and they've been together since college. And I thought it was important that he did not make any excuses. He said bisexuality does not make you inherently likely to be non-monogamous with your partner, because that's a trope people use about bisexuals. And then you think about the combination of, even though they knew, right, that he's trying to be a politician, and they kept that part of their relationship and his history private, and what that I'm sure contributed, because that's still a kind of closet to live in, and that with the depression leading to the substance abuse that led to him being in that hotel room that led to that situation. So I would think that was a really hard interview to decide to give. And to talk about all of those issues at the same time. Good on him, good on her.
And I read on social media, I read very positive things. You know, I was on Twitter when this all broke, and Bakari Sellers was supporting him. He said, "My good friend, good for you for being brave and speaking your truth." And you know, I thought it was great that
I saw a lot of people being shitty.
Well, you know, yes, there were those two, but I was surprised at how many high profile people actually were lending some support, and I was glad.
Well, because I certainly am in the camp of, you know, God, he was so close to being governor of Florida, and I hope that his rehab journey and all of that, you know, he's someone I'd still like to see in politics again. So I hope that this is part of the journey. And also, let's be honest, though, they're probably a little calculated. You do have to acknowledge all of that, even if you're going to wait a couple of years to run again, so that then later you can say, I've addressed all of that.
Yes,
so hopefully this cleans the street.
You can say I am good with my wife and I'm good with my Lord. That's what you can say in politics.
Good with my girl and my Jesus, my girl and my God. John said, I agree, gays have not been kind to bisexuals. Yeah, you know, and it's also, I was talking about this with Blake the other night. I'm just, with all of this happening with my own anxiety journey, I'm just not finding mean-spirited humor that funny anymore. Sort of changed my own funny, and I watch people say things I might have said before, you know, people being like, well, it's just because, you know, well, you got hot with that dead hooker, and you know, it's like, it's just so gross, you know. I don't feel like we all know people who have made mistakes, and certainly he made a really public one, that because of that situation was public. It's also crazy that was in March. It feels like to me that was 6 years ago, doesn't it? Like that was right at the beginning of the pandemic. Lord.
That was just in March?
Yes.
Oh my God. You're so right. I can't
I feel like that was
so preceded pandemic.
Time means nothing. It's a circle. Kelly said it. I mean, she's right. Hi, Kelly. Sad that it needs to be public. Yes, but I think it's because I hope he still wants to be a public figure. And so that, you know, let's talk about it. And then he'll probably go away for a while and show up again elsewhere.
Hello, ex-wife.
That's
my ex-wife. That's the mother of my children.
It is. All right. Well, in fun news, we told you a while back about the Lifetime Gay Christmas movie coming up. As a reminder, this is the movie that will tell the story of Hugo, a New York corporate lawyer who heads to Milwaukee to spend holidays with his mother, who's also in charge of the local Christmas celebrations. Ever the matchmaker, she arranges for Hugo to run into Patrick, Hugo's high school friend and secret crush, who has recently returned after a successful stint in Silicon Valley. As they obviously enjoy the local holiday festivities together, Hugo and Patrick's attraction is once again rekindled, and it looks like Mom's well-intentioned matchmaking is a success. But Hugo receives word of a big promotion requiring a move to London, and he must decide what is most important to him. Spoiler alert, it will be Patrick. Well, they have just announced the casting for this movie. And first of all, Fran Drescher is playing the mother, and I just cannot wait to see that.
Oh, I'm there. I am there for that. I am there for that.
And in fun news, moves that I genuinely found exciting. They cast 2 openly gay actors who are also married in real life. Y'all, if it wasn't so sweet, I'd throw up in my mouth.
They are so adorable.
Ben Lewis.
I don't know. I have not read the script, but I'm seeing a plane scene where there's an abandoning of the plane and a running scene back.
Oh no, that's too expensive. Nobody gets on a plane, but at best you make it to the front of the airport.
Yeah, so the car arrives, right? And he leaves the car and the cop's saying, no, you can't park here. I have to. And runs in. Is that it?
I can't see you because I'm reading the story.
I can see you. You're this big.
I know. Well, I didn't get to finish, so I wasn't looking at you, so I couldn't see what happened. Usually we save the thoughts for the end.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
The names of these 2 actors, I'm kidding. I just can't see you. Ben Lewis is a series. What? Hold on. Let me cut. What?
Never mind. I said, didn't you just say how nice you're being lately?
Well, I'm trying, but I can't see you. I've got a story up and a graphic, and I
finish the story. I'm sorry I interrupted. I thought you were done.
Uh-huh.
You started talking about Fran Drescher. I thought it was conversation time. You threw me off with that.
Oh, no, it's what I try to do is read the story and have it sound conversational, not like I'm reading the dialogue that I wrote. These married homosexuals are Ben Lewis, who is a series regular on Arrow, and he was in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and his husband, Blake Lee, from Parks and Recreation and Mixology. So the Christmas setup with Fran Drescher will premiere in December. I loved it. I'm excited that they're both out actors.
Yes, absolutely. And they are really adorable. I don't know. I've never known any of their work, but
I don't either. Even it like through the that pink mafia phone tree. I didn't know either of these guys, and I really enjoyed finding out about them. And I love that the press release will be about 2 gay married actors playing gay married characters.
And there's another one also that Hallmark is doing. So again, progress with the Christmas movies.
Yeah.
All right, in Minot, North Dakota, and that's the way you say it. I went online, Emerson, and I looked it up. It's Minot, North Dakota. Yeah. Councilwoman Carrie Evans raised a pride flag this month. Of course, this brought the bigots out to a city council meeting to complain. I love this woman's monologue so much. So as Mr. Walker argued about how horrible this flag was, Carrie Evans dropped a bombshell and the mic in a fantastic speech. And here is her speech. Mr. Walker, if you're not aware, and I think a lot of people in this room are not aware and have come here just because this is a gay issue, I am proudly the first openly elected lesbian in North Dakota. So that is why I am not paying any heed to your crap. We, the people, I'm the people. I live in Minot. I am a taxpayer. I am a person. I get to see myself represented on the flagpole just as much as the people who got the Juneteenth flag last month, as much as the POW MIAs will get later this month. Every single person is entitled to see themselves represented. We are not some group of people who live in San Francisco or Seattle. We are here. We are your elected officials. We are your brothers. We are your sisters. And don't tell me you're not hatred and anger. That's all I feel. I've had to listen to it for days now, as has the mayor and many of my colleagues. It is unacceptable. This city is big enough for all of us. Me having a flag flying does not take away anything from your rights and freedoms. But you know what it does for me? It shows me I live in a city that appreciates and embraces me and the people of my community, and that I can live here and feel safe. That's what it does. I'm sorry that it doesn't make you feel comfortable, but we're here, we're queer, and we're not going away. His sad response was, thank you. Thank you for exposing yourself and your anger.
I loved it so much. I mean, it was like you couldn't have written it better. And it was just her speaking from her heart, like the truth of all of that. And it's so like just concise and like fed up, but in like the sweetest like North Dakota way. Like, don't you know? I just so impressive. And I love that. We are not New York or San Francisco. We are your neighbors and your teachers and your, I loved it. She made my heart happy.
You're not hatred and you're not anger. That's all I feel. Dell, you're showing a lot of
cleavage there. Dell's got tits out.
That is not that much cleavage. You want cleavage?
It just looks that way because when it sits right at the bottom of the camera, it's like, how low does it go? Does it go J-Lo low?
I guess I could go one more button there.
I mean, why not? Live it up. All right, we reached the halfway point of our show. Our regulars know, to those of you that are new, welcome. We do this to entertain you, but we do spend a good bit of time getting it ready, even when it doesn't seem like it. So if you have contributed to every cause and candidate you can think of, and you're still sitting on a pile of money, first of all, good for you. Way to save. And if you want to throw a couple of dollars our way, you can send us a tip on Venmo at Emerson Collins or on PayPal to beardcollinshoresproductions@gmail.com. It is in the email, in the banner below. Not required, not expected, but we are sure grateful. Michael Shane already donated today. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Mike. And you know, I really feel that monologue deserved a couple of bucks. I just feel like the performance.
It was an excellent performance.
Thank you. Thank you.
John said, don't pull a Chris Evansdale. Yeah, don't pull out your tallywhacker on the Facebook Live.
If I did, I would not apologize. I would just say, come on.
Lord, I wouldn't either. You know, the best thing about that, honestly, is that Chris Evans not getting crap for it, and he'll get a bunch of things. Like, the more that it's normalized that people in a modern digital age and are engaged in sexual communication, the less of a big deal it is the next time it happens to some random unknown person applying for a job. So normalized nudity. Who cares, y'all?
Yeah, nudity is like, it's fine. It's fine. My biggest issue being a dad, I just don't want my children. I just don't want them leaked. I don't want them on the, you know.
Right.
But I had that picture, that portrait made of me recently that I love. And it's, if you want to see it, it's on my Instagram. And I told my daughters, it's going to be there. Avoid it if you don't want to see it. So,
yeah.
But there's a difference in a painting of you and a picture of you. There really
yes. As you know, as we wrote in a script recently, the difference between art and porn is erections.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Well, I told you, you know, in my own journey of trying to figure out what to do that's productive on these elections, that is not just screaming at people whose minds you aren't going to change on social media. I'm choosing each week to focus on a particular senator and LGBT candidate in races that are important. So this week, we turn our attention to Kansas. And I'm going to tell you about this race. Barbara Bollier is the Democrat running in Kansas for Senate. Now, in this election, they are both new, her and the Republican. Neither of them is an incumbent. They are running to replace an incumbent, and no Democrat has been elected in Kansas since 1932. But Barbara Bollier has a very interesting opportunity. She is a doctor. She is a moderate who was actually a Republican until 2018. She got so fed up with the governor and the Republicans and their handling of some tax issues in Kansas that she switched. Welcome. She was elected to the Kansas House in 2010. She has been a vocal advocate for LGBTQ issues in Kansas politics. And she has a big focus on education and expanding healthcare access. And she has repeatedly stood up to the Republican governor and her former party. So Kansas is weirdly, surprisingly, a swing reach state opportunity for us. So if you're looking for somebody to volunteer for or donate for, head to www.bollierforkansas.com. And I am donating to her this week. John says, I've been supporting Barbara Bollier. So she's a good option.
John, you were just commenting like crazy. I have to tell you, so I want to thank you, Emerson. You inspired me to do something. As you know, I've campaigned for Veronica Escobar from Texas, Congresswoman from Texas, who's up for re-election. I met her at an event last year, just fell in love with her. And she sent me her team sent me something today where I can phone bank with for Veronica and Adam Schiff all at the same time. And so I am actually going to do that. And you inspired me to.
That's amazing. And y'all, you don't have to pick our people, but you know, I'm focused. Look, if you're not voting for Biden at this point, I don't know how to communicate to you why that matters, but we have to flip the Senate. So that's why we're focusing on those races that are likely and reach races.
Yeah.
All right. And up next in Kansas.
Yeah, in Kansas, we've got Stephanie Byers, who's running for the state house. And if she wins, she would be the first out trans person in the Kansas state legislature. After winning the Gillum National Educator of the Year award in 2019, she was asked to speak at the ACLU rally outside the U.S. Supreme Court while the court considered 3 cases that led to the Bostock decision on employment discrimination for LGBTQ people. There at the Capitol, she decided to run right there. She said to LGBTQ Nation, for me, being trans is not much different from the fact that I have brown eyes or that I'm of Native American descent or that I ride a motorcycle sometimes. It's just one part of the diversity and richness that makes me who I am. But I also realize too that for a lot of people, being trans sometimes is one of those things that holds them back. And the way we get people to accept is by people seeing success. If I can get elected, that's one more barrier we take down that helps open the doorway, at least by example. Byers is a retired teacher who spent 29 years teaching music in Wichita public schools. She is passionate about the need to expand Medicaid in Kansas, hopes to fight what she says is a tremendously high tax on food. And in a time when life is becoming increasingly virtual, Byers said many areas of Kansas are in desperate need of better broadband access. So there you go, another great candidate who speaks from her heart and was, it's like back in the day, Emerson, your dad was a minister, mine was a minister, and he's like, I always heard, I was called, and I feel like that's what happened to her. She was called right there on the steps of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, and think about that. It's like that was the court case that eventually became the Bostock decision that we've talked about this year is being used, to help so many other issues since that decision came out. All these things are tied together. And so I see in the comments, it's great people are working for lots of candidates and everybody should use the ones that they should focus on the ones you want. We're just taking a couple to focus on because I can't handle learning and understanding 300, whatever races. So just a few spotlights. To give us some focus.
Yes.
All right. Well, in Bigot news, because of course, and I thought you'd enjoy the results of this. Oh, I should get rid of our little band. Pastor Rick Pinkowski runs the group Warriors for Christ, which has been known to do things like protest Drag Queen Story Hour and post anti-LGBTQ videos to social media. Well, his teenage daughter attends Livingston Academy, a public school in Tennessee. In August, she wore this black t-shirt, just a casual ensemble that she thought, I just want to wear a thing to school that says homosexuality is a sin, and cited the Bible verse 1 Corinthians 6:9-10. Now, he says she was sent to the principal's office who sent her home because her shirt had a sexual connotation. He said, not fair that she's told that she can't wear that shirt and other people can wear that stuff that they wear. She was basically censored. He said the principal's alleged reasoning was wrong because there's a teacher at the school with a rainbow sticker that says diverse, inclusive, accepting, welcoming, safe space for everyone, which he sees as a sexual message that the school permits. Yeah, I heard that at the end, right? Diverse, inclusive, accepting, welcoming space for everyone who's into fisting. I think they forgot to include that last part that makes it sexual. So they've got kids walking around with a pride symbol on their sneakers and pride clothing and nobody bats an eye. But if a Christian comes up there and repeats what the Bible says, they are seen as intolerant. They are seen as hateful.
Yes, they are.
That's correct. That's exactly right.
Yeah, correct.
He told the Christian Post it's a First Amendment issue and he's contemplating legal action. He said his daughter just wanted to do this on her own. Just her own idea. I mean, bless. It was all that she had. It was just all her idea. It wasn't any of that bigotry that she raised him with. Just none of that. Just her own creativity that she wanted to just go to school and be hateful. How awkward for that kid. And this argument, right? Well, they wear pride rainbows and she wanted to wear her hate t-shirt.
T-shirt. So, well, bless her heart. Bless her heart.
That is one of those situations, though, where I think about all these kids, right, that become like young teenagers. I was similar to this, where they say things, love the sin or hate the sin. I mean, she really was just brainwashed at home, but now she's saying these things and it can be seen on social media. And she was the one that's got Stockholm syndrome.
I'd like to talk to her in 10 years.
I'd like to talk to her in 5.
Yeah. Well, because it's interesting how people do evolve. They get away from that.
Yes.
And then they start thinking for themselves many times.
It's like that TikToker we talked about a while back. He'll regret that in a couple of years once he finally has some LGBTQ friends and realizes, oh, that sounded good, but I was just taught to say hateful things.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the $1 million moms are they're oh shoot, I meant to buy some Dole pineapple at the store today because of this story and I forgot. I'll do it next time. Well, they're mad. They are spitting mad at Dole. This time it's a new set of ads from Dole that use the word fruit bowl in different situations. A lesbian couple uses it to refer to their children. Another set of parents use it in place of curse words like, what in the fruit bowl? And a third ad, a set of grandparents use it as a code for sexual relations they can't have when the kids are around. Barely 100,000 moms. That's how many. It's 103,000 that are now on Facebook. They're still short. They overestimated, overreached on that number. They said, here's their statement: these ads are offensive. And the fact that children actually appear in the commercial is also disturbing. All three of Dole's fruit bowl ads are irresponsible and tasteless. Well, unless you taste the fruit. The group also has a petition for members to sign that says they will refuse to buy Dole products until the ad campaign is withdrawn. The petition says, I'm highly offended by Dole's fruit bowl commercials. It is an irresponsible marketing campaign to insinuate profanity, use code words for sex in front of children, and degrade the value of children in an advertisement. Foul language, a liberal agenda, the sexual innuendos are not necessary to sell your products. And today I went to their Facebook page and I said, I see you're still 896,589 away from that recruited bigotry following goal that you have.
Oh, they make me laugh so hard. Also, because these commercials, this is such a funny idea. It makes me want a fruit bowl, even though it's basically like mostly sugar with some sad fruit like in the middle. But wait, here, y'all can see one of these commercials. This is the one with the lesbians, this terrible danger to our children.
We need a way to talk about our kids
without them knowing.
We call them fruit bowls.
Oh, no.
Was it your idea to have fruit bowls or mine?
Oh, just ruining the children, I tell you what.
I'm surprised that they didn't go after the parenting of lesbians with that advertisement. Those kids were just awful. Oh, Larry Scott, good for you, Larry.
Larry's bad. He said he trolled them once too often.
I'm going to have to go check on my comment to see if there was any response. It's so funny. They have like 103,000 followers. They put something up and no one comments. No one says a word.
That's what happens when you buy those followers.
Oh, well, they didn't buy enough. They didn't do the math.
Well, no, yeah, well, no, it's like, I know, well, 900,000, that would kind of feel like that's more money than their annual budget. As somebody said, I feel like, as Larry said, it's just one mom who writes all their stuff. You know, she can't afford to buy 900,000 followers.
And they are, it's like, I don't know, I went up on my thought. 900.
Well, that's all right. It'll come back to you. You know it does. All right, this next story, this has been going on for several years. If you follow the Olympics or elite track and field, you know, I only care about this stuff around Olympics time, but this story has been really heartbreaking to watch. Caster Semenya is a 29-year-old South African woman. She's an Olympic gold medalist, 2 different Olympics, 2012 and 2016. She recently lost an appeal against a rule that would force her to take medication to artificially lower her natural testosterone levels in order to compete at next year's Olympics. She said, I'm very disappointed. I refuse to let World Athletics drug me or stop me from being who I am. She's been involved in illegal fights to participate in women's sports for years. Now, for the background, she is a cisgender woman, right? She was assigned female at birth. She identifies as a woman. She does have an intersex condition that means she has high levels of testosterone in her body. Still a woman, assigned a woman at birth. World Athletics, which regulates international track and field, introduced a new rule, seemed to specifically target her as an individual, not even other people, like just her, because they issued a rule in last year that required participants in women's 400, 800, and 1500 races to have a low level of testosterone in their bodies and to undergo 6 months of hormone therapy to change it if their natural testosterone levels are high. Those are the only races she runs. So her lawyers argued that her intersex condition is just one of many genetic variances that athletes can have, and women with other genetic gifts aren't forced into medical treatments to remove them in order to compete. So she won't be able to defend her Olympic titles next year because she's not willing to go undergo unnecessary medical treatment to change who she is and how she was born. She said, excluding female athletes puts world athletics on the wrong side of history. I will continue to fight for the human rights of female athletes, both on the track and off the track, until we can all run free the way we were born. I know what's right and will do all I can to protect basic human rights for young girls everywhere. I hope that makes sense, right? You know, when you get to elite level athletics, there's all sorts of reasons that people are the best in the world. They've talked about Michael Phelps' wingspan. They've talked about other runners like oxygenation level in their blood. There's lots of things about the variance of us as human beings that make some people more inclined to be gifted at certain things than others. And they are saying that hers are too much, so she needs to medically change it to put her on an even playing field. This is just a woman running as a woman, and there are people who don't like it. And they don't do it to other people. There's another woman runner that's sort of right behind her that they haven't made as big a deal out of. And that part makes it seem a little bit racist too.
Wow, I hope I wrote that lawsuit. That just seems so absolutely wrong to me. You know,
and what a weird, like, invalidating, you're the wrong kind of woman. Is basically what they're saying.
I mean, they would even feel like I guess they test them. I mean, wonder when they started that. I'm sure that in the beginning of the Olympics.
Well, they've tested lots of, because they test things that are related to drug abuse, and a lot of those results can be in those same things. But still, like, this is a woman running as a woman, and they're saying, well, this part of you is not woman enough. This is totally separate from like trans people competing in sports even, but it's being weirdly treated along the same way. And this is just about a woman running as a woman who was always in our culture, in our medical everything, assigned a woman. So heartbreaking for this elite athlete.
You ain't woman enough to take that gold. That's what they're basically saying to her, you know?
Yeah.
That's awful. That's awful. Well, here's more sports news. Last month, former pro wrestler Marty Jannetty put up on a Facebook post where he claimed that while working at a bowling alley at age 13, he bought weed from a gay guy who dragged him behind the building, and he said, you already know what he was going to try to do. That was the very first time I made a man disappear. They never found him. They should have looked in the Chattahoochee River. He deleted the post, but did an interview where he said the experience of dragging him to the river and throwing him in and finding out the news the guy's missing had an impact on him. It hurt me, and it made my mind. I made up my mind that day, no one will ever hurt me again. The Columbus Police Department began investigating this as a serious claim. Now Jannetty is saying he made the whole thing up. In a new Facebook post, he said, I was just the beginning of a damn wrestling. It was just the beginning of a damn wrestling storyline, but oh my God, OMG. Didn't the world buy it? He added that looking back, he should have done a few things differently. In the comment, he says, there is some truth in the original story. That's how you add on, and it seems all true. I was 13 buying weed from a gay man. And by the way, I loves all my gay people. It just don't float my boat on that side of the river. Loves y'all though, in his car in front of the bowling alley where we both worked at. And because a couple of other my teen friends went for the hustle, he had paid him $40 to BJ them. He might have assumed I would too. So in other words, the bag of weed for free, he suddenly reached over and touched me down there. And I said, no, let's get back to work. We go out, went back to work, and remained friends. He never touched my dick and balls again. So we're all good. You know, I mean, I've been known to embellish a story or two, Emerson. I mean, you know, I've never added murder to my stories, not once.
I have so many questions. Okay, so first of all, if the idea is that this was a backstory for a new wrestling character, so the backstory was you murdered a sexual assaulter, I'm not sure how that fits into like spandex and the mat. Like, what's the who is this character going to be? I want to know. I want to know what this was laying the ground. If this was the preamble, Who was this new character? And also, if the guy really did offer you $40 to blow you in the car while you were getting drugs behind a bowling alley when you were 13, like he was still a sexual predator.
Yes.
So did that part of the story really happy, or is it further away where like you have a friend who said, oh, this gay guy offered me $40 to blow? Like, it's still bonkers.
Well, all you have to do is read the way he posted there. He's not the brightest bulb on the chandelier. I mean,
well, he's definitely been hit in the head a few too many times. John said, how come the wrestler can only find weed from a gay man? Well, I just am assuming this homosexual was spraying the shoes at the bowling alley back in the day or something. And maybe it was, you know, he's also the weed dealer to the rough adolescents. It's like the beginning of The Outsiders or something. Oh my God, stop. Ken Hartsville said, $40, I only got 10. Honey, I do it for free.
At 13, though, that's but
see, well, I guess in the life of getting paid, right? You start off getting paid, then you stop getting paid, then you eventually pay for it. That's the journey of like Peanut.
Making the transition. When y'all come and watch my show, The Shit Stir, I do have a confession to make.
Oh, I can't wait. Y'all get your tickets. DaleShores.com. Eric said, Captain Homophobia. Yeah, maybe that's the character we were headed for.
Yes.
All right. Well, in nonsense news, y'all, I've gotten so tired I can't even watch the dumb videos about anti-maskers anymore. But there was one played yesterday that I saw that went further afield and further off the deep end than anything I had seen. It was making the round out of ABC, a local ABC affiliate, I believe, out of St. George, Utah, where 1,000 people had gathered to speak out against children being required to wear face masks at school. Now, there's the usual protest, calling coronavirus a hoax, saying asymptomatic carriers don't exist, and calling the mask mandates illegal and unconstitutional, infringing on my rights. One man said, if we want to wear a mask, that's fine, but we can take care of ourselves. We don't need the government telling us what we can and can't do. Then a white lady, and it's important to note that she's white, appears on camera and says the most bonkers thing I've seen someone say yet. She proceeded to say the following. George Floyd was saying, I can't breathe, and then he died. Now we're wearing a mask and saying, I can't breathe, but we're being forced to wear it anyway. Del Shores? I don't even know how to begin to engage with the degree to which that is racist.
We're not worthy of engaging. She's stupid. That's just the stupidest comment ever.
Like, that's a thing. Like, she thought, oh, those two phrases, I can make that black man's death under the knee of a police officer about myself.
I can't breathe with my mask on.
Like, first of all, yes, you can. Doctors wear them all day long. We've said it. I won't keep saying it. But I want to show you. Oh, wait, I've got to find this other woman because you need to see her as I share with you. And then the final picture is we meet Betty Jake. Now, Betty Jake is this elderly woman that you see on your screen right now in her straw hat and a very bold red lip for the daytime, I must say. She says, I'll tell you another reason why I hate masks. Most child molesters love them.
Okay, Betty Jake. Now appearing in the local production of Steel Magnolias as Weezer.
Yes. I mean, here, like she says in Steel Magnolias, here, hit Weezer.
That was really good.
Very good. Look at us.
For the setup.
Now, just to be clear, y'all, these like bonkers, bigot, racist people who the very first time their rights have been infringed is being told to wear a mask for their safety of their community, they are not the only ones. The white homosexuals, y'all, our people are still out doing ridiculous things. Atlanta had a big peach party last weekend. Sum Ting Wong, one of my favorite drag queens from Drag Race UK. I just want you to look at this video of these white homosexuals having a toga party. Now, y'all are not social distance. Y'all don't have on masks. That one's grabbing his crotch. Sure. I mean, y'all, we can't be doing this. It is not okay.
Well,
if you're
and
white homosexual friends, and look, there are lots of ways that, like, you don't know what's happening, people. You see a handful of people together, you don't know what their protocols are, what they're doing. But let's be honest, if you see 30 homosexuals in togas, which is the most tired gay party theme you could possibly have. Like, frat boys in college do that. They wrap the twin bed sheet from their dorm room around themselves and stumble around drinking trash can punch. Do better, homosexuals. Do better.
And here's what, and we have to, thank you, Emerson, for calling them out, because, here we are calling out Trump with his ridiculous rallies that are inside that people are just going crazy to go to, these idiots, and no mask, because it's all a hoax.
Yeah. Well, as Jennifer said, that's like folks out here comparing Black oppression to the Holocaust. No sense. Who's serving those stupid Jews? They sure are out here guzzling it. It's like, there is no need to compare oppressions. All of the marginalized groups of people's experiences are different. Like, there is no need to say it's like. Just say what it is. They're all terrible.
Jennifer, I love serving the stupid Jews so much. I can't stand it.
It's the same Everclear trash can punch the white gays are drinking, thinking they can have their parties together. My people. And it's our responsibility to hold our own people accountable.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And thank you for doing that. Okay.
One more one.
Speaking of one of our own, meet Democratic candidate for Texas House, Ann Johnson, out lesbian, running in an increasingly liberal community that has become a district to watch that could help flip the House in Texas. It could make the House blue. She told LGBTQ Nation, "I'm fired up today. I'm really excited about this campaign. This district is looking at somebody who will not only fight for their interests, but get things done across the aisle. I am a native Houstonian. I grew up in Texas. And when I was growing up, the strength of Texas meant we made decisions that were good for our people, not our politics." She is a cancer survivor who has been repeatedly denied health coverage for pre-existing conditions. Before she entered politics, Johnson was a human trafficking prosecutor, credited with helping create a legal framework across the country for protecting child victims of sexual exploitation. If she wins, she says, "My wife and I will show up together to the session and the inauguration, and we will be another example of a committed relationship and the meaning of definition of marriage today for the rest of Texas legislature to see." You can donate by going to annjohnson.com. I'm in love with her.
Yes. So those are our spotlights. And yes, go throw a few dollars. Y'all, I don't have a lot of money, but I'm giving a little bit. And our little bits add up to a lot, particularly at these smaller races. At the smaller level, every dollar, they have a place they are ready to use it if you can share it with them. And finally, just a real quick thing. I saw this video and it was just absolutely adorable. This older woman coming out and it's gone viral. Now I'm going to try to share. Y'all let us know immediately if you can hear her, because if not, I'll explain what she was saying. Meet our lady.
Exactly what you just said.
I said that if I ever got involved with anybody again, it wouldn't be a man. It would be a woman. I do like women. I like women much more than men.
But attractive. Do you prefer women's bodies?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think boobs are nice.
I think you've been repressing it your whole life because
so?
society
back
in the day.
I think the penis is not that keen.
Requirements.
Probably about late 60s.
You're a cougar.
Late 60s.
Okay, you like the younger women.
I just.
Well, she's an old cougar coming out on TikTok. It just seemed like a
person.
What? I don't know how old she is. She was looking for late 60s.
Oh my God, she's fantastic. She doesn't like the penises.
That's right, but she thinks boobs are nice. All right, y'all, we're getting to the end. Thought it'd end on a light note. If you have sent us a tip, thank you to Erica Kopich. And if you want to, as we're wrapping up the show, it's in the banner again on Venmo at Emerson Collins or on PayPal. You can email us a tip to beardcollinshoresproductions@gmail.com.
I've had a good time with you today, Emerson Collins.
Me too. And after this, at 6 o'clock our time, Blake and I are taking our text training Zoom so we can start doing texts for the Biden campaign as a part of our volunteer commitment.
I hope I get one that says, "Hi, this is Emerson for the Biden campaign." That would be so exciting.
So if y'all do get one, don't do what I do, which is text back and say, "Please take me off your text list. I've already contributed."
So, well, thank you all for watching us today and for participating. It's always a pleasure. And we will see you on Friday.